Welcome back to Google Class. Dear students, today I am going to discuss with Transfer of Property Act. Okay. Chapters Caveat Emptor. C-A-V-E-A-T. Caveat Emptor. E-M-P-T-O-R. Caveat Emptor. Okay. Under the subject of sale. Section 55, subclass 1, subclass A. Okay. Caveat emptor. Caveat emptor means let the purchaser beware. Okay. So this doctrine was first applied in the Law of Goods and Consumer Protection Act. Okay. Later it was adopted in Law of Torts also. Now it is also being applied in the Transfer of Property Act. Okay. Caveat emptor. What is the main principle in this caveat emptor? The general rule of common law of the sale of goods is that the buyer wants to purchase goods to fulfill his needs and wishes. He purchases the goods at his own risk, relying upon his own skill and judgment. He buys the goods after satisfying himself of their quality and fitness. Okay. If the buyer makes a wrong choice, the seller is not held responsible. Okay. The principle of caveat emptor means let the buyer beware. Okay. He only halot. Lays down that it is the duty of the buyer to satisfy himself before purchasing the article. That the article which he buys is the one which he wants. Okay. This rule of caveat emptor is enunciated in section 16 of the Sale of Goods Act 1930 also. Okay. Later, the concept of caveat emptor has been underwent drastic changes in consumer justice also. Okay. This principle does not give sufficient protection to the illiterate and a large number of consumers also, because hence the caveat venditor is the new concept that replaces the concept of caveat emptor today in business level. Okay. This was we have seen in the Law of Torts and Consumer Protection Act 1986 also. Okay. What is the application of caveat emptor to immovable property? This doctrine caveat emptor is applicable to sale of goods. Okay. Whether the doctrine is applicable of the sale of immovable property or not, the doctrine is applicable to immovable property also in the case of patent material defects. Okay. If any material defects patents in the property, this rule is not applicable in the case of latent material defects. Okay. And also defects in title also. Okay. So what is the meaning of patents defects in property? So the main meaning patent defects, the defect which is visible to the eye at the time of seeing any one of the property visibly. Okay. Or arise by necessary implication from something visible to the eye. Okay. A patent defect is easily visible at first visit. It is the rule of doctrine of caveat emptor shall apply patent defects in the property. Okay. Example, the ruins condition of the house is visible to the eye on the spot. For example, if you are going to visit any one of the property of house, first impression, what you are seeing there, or the outer architect and inner level. So these are all symptoms. So there is visible condition. That condition is visible to the eye on the spot when you are visited that particular house or property. Okay. It can easily be discoverable by inspection. Okay. It is a patent defect. Okay. And second thing, a brick. Which bricks? The standard bricks are or substandard bricks are used, or chemical factory nearby the house, it is situated in the sewage area, or in which the proposed sale of house is situated. The purchaser can easily find the nuisance of obnoxious gases, dust, etc. on physical verification of the surroundings. Okay. These are all patent defects. So the rule caveat emptor applies to the patent defects. Okay. Therefore, It is the duty of the buyer to inspect, inquire into the physical condition of the property. Okay, I will give you one example, then it is easy to understand. Okay, old field versus round on case law means that old case, that's old case, but this case also identical. What I want to discuss with some example problem. Okay, A is a person. Okay, a purchaser. Okay, visited and inspected the property before entering into the agreement to sell. Okay, A paid some advance to B, to the vendor. Here B is a seller. Okay, just before registering the document. Okay, A raised the objection that a way round and across the meadow was defective before the, okay, just before registering the document, A raising, okay, the objection that a way round and across the meadow was defective and refused to complete the conveyance, refused to complete the registration. Okay, here B approached the court for specific performance of the conveyance. Here who is the B? Here B is the vendor, B is the seller, because at that last moment, so he filed the suit, the seller filed the suit before the court. What will happen? What judgment will be given? Yeah, so the same example was given in our problem, also identical. Old field versus round, 1880 case, 1880 case means 18th century case. The case, the court held that it was the duty of the purchaser to object the transaction before the agreement to sell. Okay, this is the duty. So the defect being patent defect, okay, the vendor was not bound to inform, it was the purchaser to involve. Okay, purchaser to invoke the rule caveat emptor, physical test. Okay, in this present case, it was the carelessness of the purchaser who did not choose to prefer to raise any objection at the time of agreement to sell. So the court granted specific performance of the contract in favor of the vendor. Vendor means here seller, and order the purchaser to pay the entire consideration and to complete the sale. That's all. Okay, okay students, and we'll see another legal term, latent defects. Latent defects, latent, L-A-T-E-N-T, latent defects in property. What is the meaning? That the defect which is not easily visible to the eye. It is not easily visible to the eye. Some hiding. Okay, I will give you some example, then it is easy to understand. Okay, number one, the existence of an underground culvert in the property. Number two, the poisonous water in the underground. We don't know underground poisonous water. For example, if you are purchase any one of the house, what will happen after, if you are entering to the house? All the waters also poisonous water, drinking water also. Okay, so the no water available in the ground. We don't know how to find out water visibility in the ground itself. We don't know. So no water available in the underground. A well or deep or tank filled with the earth. Okay, we don't know. So the rule caveat emptor, another point, a rule caveat emptor does not apply to latent material defects. Okay, this caveat emptor does not apply to latent material defects. Okay, who will liability? The seller has to disclose the latent defects. Okay, the latent defects interfere with the enjoyment of the property. Suppose here a buyer wants to purchase a house site in one Basti, B-A-S-T-I, Basti. Here B vendor, okay, B is a vendor, means seller, knows that due to factory situated near to site, the affluence of the factory caused the underground water poisonous, and also the atmosphere poisonous. He knows it, but still he remains silent on the above defects and encourage the buyer to purchase the plot. After agreement to sell or after registration, the buyer has the right to rescind the sale. It is the duty of the seller to disclose the latent defects of the property to the buyer. Okay. Now it's clear, this latent defects in property. Okay, I will give you one example, this above latent defects. So example, a house was given on lease by an action. Okay, AUCTI action. The house was given on lease by an action. Okay, the condition of the lease was that lessee was restricted from carrying on any offensive trade. Carrying on any offensive trade. Okay, here A, the plaintiff, was a fruiter. Okay, here A is a person. Now in this example case, is a plaintiff, is a petitioner. Okay, A is the plaintiff, was a fruiter. His trade was not an inoffensive trade. Okay, still B, the lessor, objected to continue the trade in the house leased. Here A wanted to rescind the contract and requested the lessor to pay back his deposit. B refused to pay back the deposit. This is a question of the example. Okay, this example of case also identical with one famous case, 1834 case, 1834 year. Okay, Flight was Flight, FLIGHT, Flight was Booth, BOOTH, English case. Okay, so the facts of the given problem also same, identical what we discussed this example. The House of Lords under the Chief Justice Tyndall gave judgment in favor of the lessee, and that the lessee was entitled to rescind the contract and to recover back his deposit because omission in particulars of the restrictions as to other offensive trades was a misdescription in a material and substantial point. And again, the Chief Justice Tyndall observed that it must be of such nature that it might be reasonably supposed that if the buyer had been aware